like to call the Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 meeting of the Edenton Town Council to order. Our first order of business will be reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please stand. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And at this time, we're going to turn to Councilman Elton Bond to give us our invocation.
Could we bow our heads, please? Oh, Heavenly Father, we come to Thee this afternoon to say thank you. Thank you for blessing us with such a gracious day, and for your mercy and for your love. Please help us here at the council, even though we might have different opinions on different things, but help us to work together as a unit for the best of Edenton, so we can care about our job as making Edenton a safe, beautiful, and honest place to live at. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Bond. The next order of business is approval of our minutes. Council, you have been distributed the minutes from our August meetings. Are there any comments or requests for changes on those? Make a motion. Got a motion? Need a second?
Second.
All in favor of accepting the minutes as written, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, those are approved. Next, we invite our people who have signed up to engage in public comment. As always, we'd like to remind you that we do limit our speakers to 3 minutes per speaker. Our first speaker is John Grant. JD?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Since it's not a public hearing, I just wanted to take a couple of clarifying things out possibly regarding the major special use permit.
Yes.
Is this the same as the original permit and it's just an addendum, or is this a new permit?
It's an amendment, and there's going to be two parts to the Hotel Hinton discussion tonight. A few agenda items for now. We're going to have a special presentation. You may recall that as a part of their original special use permit, they were to come and give us updates, and so we're going to have an update, and then later there's going to be a request for an amendment, and that amendment, you may recall, because you've been following the issue very closely, you will recall that originally town council desired for this to be a full, solely hotel type of development.
Correct.
And they came to us with a plan that included some hotel rooms and some short-term rentals and some long-term rental type of apartments. We came to the decision that something was better than nothing, kind of begrudgingly, and approved that. And they now have come back to us with a plan that makes it entirely hotel, and so they're requesting that amendment be made to the special use plan.
So we're coming back to a boutique hotel?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that's all I needed to know.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Next, we've got Cynthia Furlong. Cynthia.
Good evening. I'm Cynthia Furlong, and thank you for the opportunity to represent the Friends of the State Historic Site and tell you about an opportunity in our upcoming event in Chimes on the Green. I think all of you received in your packet for the agenda tonight this announcement here. A little background: the Friends of the Historic Site of Edenton is an organization that supports 4 North Carolina state-owned and managed historic sites in Edenton. And our goal as Friends is to help restore these sites, preserve history, educate the public through events, and boost our local economic development through tourism. All the wonderful history in this community is what makes this town unique, and a place that many people visit and choose to move here for. Friends of Edenton historic organizations in our community are the volunteers and the support to our leaders. We are the pen and the quill, we are the town crier, we are the historic buildings, we are the memories and dreams. And at the moment, when the clock chimes on September 18, we are all part of the past. The 1825 first clock, the 1891 second clock, the 1950 electric clock, and 2025 is part of the 250th celebration. We are at the present as well. Turning on the clock after about 5 years of being silent, we are sharing this event with the community. And we are the future, the caretakers, the stewards of history, and the chiming on the green. On behalf of Friends of the State Historic Sites of Edenton, we'd like to invite you to attend the Chimes on the Green event September 18 at 4:45 on the courthouse green. This event will be 45 minutes or less, and the clock is set to chime at 5 p.m. And then the time inside the courthouse will be available to answer questions from the staff. And tonight I'd like you to meet our new historic site director briefly, and you can talk to her that evening. This is Laura Rogers. Her staff will give guided tours at the courthouse Tuesday through Saturday 9 to 5. And our clock repairer, Joe D'Apuzzo, will be there present for this event and can answer questions of technology about the clock. And in addition, you will hear from our mayor that evening. So I hope you will be joining us and others who are all recording history in that moment and guiding future generations to do the same.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you and Laura and your group for planning and organizing this. And I would encourage everyone that's here to be there, including as many council members as can.
Can I say one quick thing?
Yeah, you should.
You know, it's like a new day in Eden with Laura here. I mean, she has done this great outreach. She's here tonight. I think that she is trying to integrate the state historic site into everything that's going on, and we are just, you know, thank you, Cynthia, and we're just so lucky to have somebody with, you know, Laura's ability and her desire to connect with this community. So it's a real win for Edenton.
Appreciate those comments, Councilman Dixon. Our next public speaker is Larry Sellers. Larry?
I'm here pushing for Roy Goodson's contract to be done. I hope all y'all will get together, raise your hand and say, yes, I do. You can't find any better person than Corey up here. And I'm positive if you don't, he'll have another job within a couple weeks. He'll leave Edenton, and we don't need to have him leave Edenton. If y'all feel that you can't do it, let me know, and I'll try to raise the difference, the money. Because I feel deep down, it's well worth it for the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Our next speaker is Karen Foley. Karen?
Good evening. Today I had the opportunity to watch the local government commission out of Raleigh. There was the teacup event. And I have to just say how proud I am of Corey and with Ches for the presentation that they gave and their succinct answers and their professionalism. It made a big difference there, I think, in getting things going in the direction we want. So thank you both very much for the work you do.
Thank you, Karen. And Corey, did you or Chess want to give a real brief synopsis on what was going on in Raleigh today and what occurred that's big news for Edenton?
Yes, sir. And so in response to Karen's statement, Chess and I did have a meeting today for approval of the OGC for the IFC for the funding as well as the lease agreement between the town and its nonprofit partner and the market structure. So big news today for us. We're one step closer to bringing Project Teapot home. And so we were very proud. Just as you said, Karen did an amazing job. It was a huge announcement for us today. So we were smiling from ear to ear about 2:18 this afternoon in Atlanta County.
And LGC is the Local Government
Yes.
Commission, for those that aren't familiar with that acronym, and they are a financial oversight entity here in the state of North Carolina to approve when towns enter into debt. Is that correct?
Any debt exceeding $1 million. Yes.
So we got their approval.
Yes.
Great.
We got
Next, we have Joe Watt. Joe?
Well, Mayor, hi, council members. Thank you for this opportunity to address you. I can't tell you, I'm so glad to be back in Edenton. Many of you may know that Stephanie and I have been out traveling around this great country of ours. We did 21 states, 7,598 miles driving around this great country. And in that tour, we saw many, many small towns. And these small towns all had one thing in common. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them, they're dying. Small towns are dying in the United States. So when we came back into Edenton, we were so thrilled to be back in our home. This town that's thriving, we love being here. That's not no chance. And you know, you don't have to drive 7,000 miles. You can go 8 miles across the Sound. You can go west here a little bit across the river. You can go up Highway 17. You can find small towns. They are struggling. And when you ask people in these towns, how did you end up here? How did you come to live here? They all say the same thing. Well, I didn't choose to be here. I just kind of ended up here. You ask people that in Edenton, that's not the answer you get. People all have a good story. I grew up here and I love it. I grew up here, I moved away, I came back. Folks like Stephanie and I, we came here on a vacation, we fell in love with this town. There's something special about Edenton. Because Edenton is a place that people want to be. Towns like that don't just happen. It's not by chance. It's because of a lot of hard work, a lot of great decisions by this council, the councils before you. You made great choices. You made great decisions. But those decisions don't mean anything if they don't get carried out. You need a town manager that can carry those things out and make them a reality. And this man sitting right here is doing an outstanding job for you. Now, we've probably not been paying him enough. And people weren't chiming in on social media complaining that we weren't paying Corey enough. But when you decided to give this man a raise, everybody started complaining on social media. Let me tell you, these aren't my opinions of how good he's doing. They are my opinions, but they're validated. Because the folks down in Carteret County, they saw what was going on up here. They wanted a piece of it. And they know where you go. You go after the town manager. And they offered him a lot more than where y'all ended up here. And I know you all know this, but I want the folks that complain on social media to know that ROI, I think, was the question. The ROI on Mr. Gooden being here, with his knowledge of public-private partnerships, state grants, federal grants, the amount of money that flows into this town to make this a better place for everybody, that's coming from this man, way worth more than what this small increase in his salary is. So, folks on the council, please note, you have my support as one of your citizens, one of your taxpayers, I'd argue one of your bigger taxpayers, that you have my support for your yes vote today on supporting Mr. Gooden. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Our last speaker is Wayne Caskey. Wayne?
Council members, this is a part one of a reading. I witnessed for many years the passing of the seasons. Since 1632, when my ancestors landed on these shores, I've seen spring burst forth and by the Father's hand be filled with the beauty of his making. I've seen dogwood, iris, daffodil, and bridal wreath, all a profound of splendor amid a green conceived only in spring. I've seen toil and sweat, heat and cool rains, growing crops, buzzing trees, and laughing children of many summers. I've seen repeatedly the glorious magnificence of autumn, the richness of red, yellow, orange, and amber leaves as they clung tenaciously. Then, in acquiescence, shower the earth with the beauty of their death. I have seen not only the snow, the ice, bitter wind, and barrenness of past winters, but also the beauty and serenity of them. For I've walked these hills and hollows since I fell in February 1862. That February day dawned gray and cold, symbolic perhaps of the horrors that were yet to come. The air was thick with the smoke and pungent odor of spent gunpowder, and it lay like a shroud round about us. Then they came as a rooster crowed somewhere in the distance. From everywhere they came, and the battle began.
I raised my rifle to fire at the advancing line of blue. I felt the hot ball of lead as it drove its way into my chest. I remember falling back as a bittersweet darkness enveloped me. When I rose up, I knew death had claimed me. I looked around and saw my friends as they fought bravely, but they all fell. It seems they all fell that day. Sam, good old Sam, he used to play tunes on a battered tin harmonica. And Jake, 3 weeks ago, became the bird of a new son. Elijah, barely 17 and scared, yet he rose bravely to defend the cause. Pete, always so calm and sure, took aim and continued to fire until the Yankee shell blew him away, and with Pete went Fred and William and sweet Mary's Dave, and Rice and Wade and Earl, all brave men, all dead men. One by one they joined me at the top of a little hill as the cannonballs exploded and balls of lead and swords found targets. We looked across and saw on the opposite hill a line of blue, all brave men, all dead men. And I'll continue part 2 next time.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank all of you for sharing your comments with us tonight. That concludes our public comment portion of our agenda. Next, we will move to a public hearing on a voluntary annexation request pursuant to GS 160A-31. This involves property at 316 Old Hertford Road. And at this time, I'll open the public hearing. And once the public hearing is complete, we will close the hearing. The council is not deciding on the annexation tonight. There are a number of steps that we must follow pursuant to the statute that was just quoted, and one of the steps is that we conduct a public hearing. And at this time, I would ask if anyone has any comments on the voluntary annexation request that we have received for the property located at 316 Old Hertford Road. Yes. And Lars, I know you, but if you'll identify yourself for the listening and watching public and also for the rest of it.
Yes, sir.
Audience.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, Honorable Mayor. Hi.
I need Mike, I think I called
Yeah,
you.
I'm used to it. I'm used to it. And Honorable Council, I'm Micah Simonson, Simonson Law Firm. I represent WP Tria Properties, who has requested this voluntary annexation petition. The subject property is a 4-acre tract, and approximately an acre, .3 is already within town limits, and the request for the annexation is for the remainder of the tract. It's currently zoned R10, and WP Tria Properties intends to develop the property in accordance with the R10 designation, which among other things requires 10,000-foot lots and either single-family residences or duplexes, and that they also intend to, down the middle of the tract, do a 60-foot right-of-way road to dedicate to the town with a cul-de-sac at the end. But the plans are all in a very preliminary state, and it will also require some subdivision, which of course will come back before the town. But at this point, we're just asking that the property be annexed such that the entire 4 acres is within town limits.
Mike, I appreciate it. I may embarrass you, but congratulations to you and your wife, Taze.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Mike's wife, Taze, gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. I think it was on Sunday
Yes,
morning.
sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And his name is Henry Raines Simonson. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Well,
sir. And
congratulations.
I'd also, on a personal note, like to thank the council personally for my oldest son's memorial bench in the old Colonial Park, the Children's Park area. Thank you very much. It's a legacy for my son, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
Are there any other comments on the voluntary annexation request?
Are we vote on it?
No, this is just a step in the process.
When is it over?
Dwayne, is that in October, or?
So, technically, from what I know, it can be voted on tonight, but if you want a discussion about it, then it can wait till next.
Yeah, I think we need to wait on it procedurally because it was advertised on our agenda just as a public hearing.
That's correct.
And also it was handed out to our council and as a no action required tonight type of thing. So just to make sure that we're proper on the procedure, I would just ask for those reasons that we put it on in October. Okay, if there are no more comments at this public hearing, I'll announce the public hearing closed and we will move to our next agenda item. As we indicated earlier in our meeting tonight, under the special use permit for the Hotel Edenton, there was a requirement that we be given regular updates, and tonight we have Dawson Tyler on behalf of the owner of the Hotel Edenton project to give us an update. Dawson?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor High, and thank you to the whole council. This is another one of those presentations that is a very much good news story. I think Hack laid out very succinctly kind of from where we've come, which was a 27-bedroom apartment building to what is now a 59-room space to be used as a hotel. So, golly, I think we've gotten to where we wanted to be as far as design is concerned. So with that in mind, I wanted to take you through kind of where we are. And so the next step in front of you as far as approval of the use permit is crucial for us. So once that step gets cleared, hopefully this evening, all of these drawings that you see me present today will go to our mechanical contractor. So at that point in time, the electric lines start getting run. We start figuring out where a hood vent in a restaurant would be run. Kind of all the meat and potatoes that make up making a 59-room establishment work. So we've come a long way. We still have a long way to go, but just the process, the creativity, Saga's willingness to kind of hear what the town is looking for, what the people of the town are looking for, and be open to ideas. I really couldn't say anything more about it other than it's been great. We can advance the slide, please. I'm going to read it from right here. So I don't
You
think
got better eyes than
I had a piece of paper in my pocket. I don't have glasses, so that wouldn't work. But Benjamin Briggs and myself and Maggie Gregg reviewed the plans last week, and Benjamin sent this letter. We are very excited to learn the progress in the plans for the Hotel Hinton in Edenton. The proposed plan for a multi-use building reflects the historic use of the building as a community gathering space. The current concept of ground floor uses that include an art gallery, restored lobby, and dining venue is especially appropriate. In addition, we are pleased to learn that the plan now includes 59 rooms that will function as a hotel and short-term rentals, with an end goal of transitioning into hotel rooms fully in the future. This proposed design and use of the building is consistent with its historic function and would be a great asset to the community. In reviewing the plans presented to me last week, I do not see any features that are contrary to the protective covenants held by Preservation North Carolina. To that end, Preservation North Carolina approves the changes noted within the proposed plan as appropriate for the rehabilitation of the property. Sincerely, Benjamin Briggs. And just on that note, everyone in the preservation community here, I think it's worth noting how active Preservation North Carolina is in Edenton, and how much they care for what we have going on here. So Benjamin Briggs has been a great partner in all things Hotel Hinton and beyond in Edenton.
And also, before you move to the next slide, once Saga decided they wanted to make this change of direction, it was a requirement that you get that letter
Correct.
before you could move forward, is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct. Next slide, please. So we all kind of know the history of the hotel. You know, we walked through that the last time I was here with you. But, you know, the fun part is what's coming at the bottom of that timeline. So we've gone through a long period of time of inactivity on the property. You know, we've now passed that. So, you know, I hope that tonight, to a certain degree, is going to act as a turning of the page of how we kind of all view this project, and you know, hopefully a page turn that gets everybody excited and gets everybody behind what is going on just a short distance up the street. If I could have the next slide, please. So currently, this is your design for your lobby. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see a large event space that is going to double as an art gallery. We'd like to feature local artists in there so that hotel guests can enjoy it as they stay in the newly restored hotel. The center of what you have there is the hotel lobby. As you can see it, most of y'all attended the event we held 4 months ago now, 3 months ago. You know, there's a lot of historic character left in that lobby that we hope to bring back and really showcase. And then on the right-hand side of the hotel, you'll see a bar and a restaurant. So we have changed that to not only be the bar, but to be a restaurant. And Saga is actively talking with restaurateurs, including some locally. That, you know, when the timing is appropriate, I think will be really exciting. And then on each wing of the hotel, you have 4 hotel rooms that we're thinking of doing some fun stuff, making them kind of Edenton themed rooms, you know, that are really exciting and you know, fun for the guests that stay there. If I could get the next slide, please. So this is representative of the 2nd floor of the hotel. And this layout will be representative of each floor from there on out. So you've got 18 rooms on these floors. Most of them are similar in size. You'll notice the room in the front center will be consistent on all the floors, and will be, you know, a room that we intend to be kind of like a bridal suite, or if you have a special function of sorts, you know, kind of a larger connected space that can be used for those type of events. Next slide, please. So we have recently started thinking about, and the timing with Corey and Chess's trip to Raleigh is great. We've really started thinking about, you know, how we extend the space of the hotel so that it's not just that lobby area, it's not just that event space, it's not just that great bar and restaurant, but it extends out. And that courtyard that we all kind of fought so hard to keep, that same U-shaped hotel design, I think offers us a whole lot of opportunity to create a really neat venue space. And that's what you see here. So just briefly, you have a mix of kind of a bluestone, Kentucky bluestone, in some of the seating areas, along with brick pavers in the rest of the areas. The bottom left, so the view of the hotel is facing up, just to give you orientation. Front of the hotel is down. But the bottom left area is intended to be a place where you know, 1, 2, 3 person band can play and entertain folks throughout the courtyard. Then we've created a wall behind the space that'll take you around and give you access into those kind of specially themed bedrooms that we were talking about on the first floor. A lot of really neat plantings have been brought in. We're trying to create kind of a lush, kind of Englishy garden type feel back there. Something that'll kind of create an outdoor room. Can we get the next slide, please? So as part of coming up with a design and getting that design ready for mechanical contractors, we needed to go into what sort of appliances we're going to go where, what sort of sinks we're going to go in spaces, what each space would be used for. So for instance, this drawing is depicting a high back sink. High back sinks were very popular in the 1920s when the hotel was built. And just being able to figure out what these products are important so that when that mechanical contractor goes to run water lines, he or she knows that they're going to run them for a high back sink, just to give you an example. But this is kind of cut one on kind of the little kitchenettes that the units will have in them. I can get the next slide, please. Bedrooms, we have tried to keep, classic designs with furniture, classic designs with lighting, classic designs with finishes, so that, again, this hotel, relates to Edenton, but it's got, a couple of modern touches to it as well. Other fun thing, if you'll notice, the map over the bed is the old Saltier map of Edenton. Some pictures of the waterfront, and we took a lot of inspiration for what we're doing from Carolina Inn in Chapel Hill, where the building, so not just for your Carolina fans, but the building itself kind of tells the story of the place through pictures of its past. And I think that is going to be really important as people walk down these halls and stay in these rooms to further understand how meaningful a place Edenton is, and we intend to carry that through. Next slide, please. So this would just be at the other end of the bed, looking into what would be a small kind of desk area. We haven't fully worked out what's going behind that desk. More than likely it'll be like a frame TV that becomes a piece of artwork when it's not being used as a television. But just giving you an idea of the type of finishes that we are looking to use, things that are really interesting and not your run-of-the-mill hotel. These are things that are special and well thought out, and we think really represent what the Hotel Hinton can be. Next slide, please. Same thing going into the bathroom. We're trying to, again, keep thematically things that you would have seen in the 1920s, kind of a little nod to the past, but then kind of bring them into the realm of a new hotel space. So, the sink with the stretchered bottom to it is a classic kind of 1920s, 1930s look. Obviously, the brass and the green is something that's a little bit more modern. But again, for design cues, trying to go back to, bringing the history back to the building. And again, it's been really refreshing to work with folks at Saga. These design cues they are taking from our team, and we're working through it together as a team from start to finish. So it's been really enjoyable to this point. And next slide. That is all I have. Just thank you for hearing us out from December 17th till today. It has come a really long way.
Will the exterior facade be a 1920s look to
It will.
old street light?
So we actually
A lot of
just,
gingerbread?
we just had our talk today. We have a standing weekly meeting with the Saga team and the architect. And the next thing that you're going to see out of us, we want to get the Preservation Commission involved here kind of early on. And so a streetscape of the building will be one of the very next things to come. Some of the things that people's eyes are used to seeing, or the entry portico to the building is not what it was. It used to be reversed, so it didn't come out into the space, went into the building. Cues like that, taking it back to what it was historically. We also want to get to talking about signage potentially that would go on the building, harkening back to some of the earlier signs.
So you go back to keys to open the door.
We'll have keys.
You have keys.
We talked about that too. Nothing like a metal key as opposed to some sort of plastic
Skeleton key
something.
back there.
And then the other thing, personally, I feel, the architect feels, is the building, as it currently sits, the two areas that have been enclosed with stucco will be going back to being kind of glass storefronts like they were, and then pulling out awnings that give the building some dimensionality, which it had early on.
Dawson, I asked you the question about that first letter that you showed us. In addition to the approval by Preservation North Carolina, did you have to go back to the National Park Service to explain to them the changes and why, get another approval from them?
Yes, so both the state HAC and NPS is reviewing, they kind of given their first review pass of it. And so we're waiting to get that formal review for all the tax credit parts. But, just like Benjamin was, both those entities were thrilled to see it go back to something that was much closer to what it originally was.
So that'll be something in the form of a written letter or written approval from them?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Do you think that's coming up?
I think you'll see in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Okay, well, that concludes, I guess you're finished. That
Yes, sir.
concludes
Any
the,
questions? I'm happy to
special
field them.
presentation. If there are any questions, and we'll have an additional opportunity for questions when Dwayne Wilton comes before us on the request for the amendment later in our agenda under new business.
This is just a big move to see the information and not wonder all the time what's going on. So
I agree.
we thank you for all that.
I appreciate to see the rooms.
Yeah, I appreciate the commitment to being transparent and keep the public informed, so thank you and Sumit for doing that, I appreciate it.
We plan, we'll figure out when 3 months from now is, and I'll be right back here.
Yeah, certainly. We look forward to that. Thank you. And just get together with Corey on scheduling of that. I guess it may be close to the holiday time.
Sure.
Sometime around December maybe.
Sounds great. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item are committee meetings, and the first committee meeting is the administrative committee chaired by Councilman Miller. Correct?
Mayor, we have two items of business, both dealing with the police department. First is police department reorganization. At our August 25th council committee meeting, Chief Lafon made a presentation requesting he be permitted to replace the police captain and detective sergeant positions with two police lieutenant positions, one being administrative, the other being operational. At this time, I would like to make a motion that we approve Chief Lafon's request to replace the existing positions with lieutenant positions.
Second.
We got a motion and second. Does anyone have any questions of Chief Lafon or any comments before we call for a vote on this?
How are we doing with recruiting?
Doing real good, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments on this request for reorganization? We got a motion and second. All in favor of the reorganization as approved by Police Chief David Lafon, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Harris. Appreciate you bringing this to our attention. All right, Councilman Miller.
The second item is the police department part-time officers pay. Also at the same council committee meeting, Chief Lafon made a presentation justifying an increase to the hourly pay of auxiliary police officers to match the hourly rate of pay of the full-time police officers. This rate of pay would be $26.44. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hourly pay increase for the auxiliary police officers.
Second that.
Okay, we got a motion and second. Any questions of Chief Lafon or any comments?
Chief, does it make things easier for you to recruit?
Yes, sir, I think so, as far as being able to get part-time help, and that would help us with the overtime piece.
the town manager and myself talked about it. If we pay guys overtime, we still got the benefits piece that falls into there, and a part-time person will have that $10 to $12 per hour benefits piece that we normally have to pay the regular employees. So hopefully that'll save us some money with all the events and 5Ks and stuff that we have.
And just so the public knows, what are we currently paying our part-time?
$15 an hour.
15.
Yes, sir.
And you found that was the norm around here was $26, $25?
Yes, sir. Everybody was taking whatever their base starting salary was and dividing that by 20/80. That's how they were coming up with that when we were calling around trying to figure out what everybody else was doing.
This will also help in retention too.
I hope so. Hopefully we can get some part-time guys in here and some of them won't become full-time. But thanks to you guys getting the salaries up last year, we were doing a whole lot better with recruiting and retention. We haven't had any turnover.
Great to hear.
Mayor, if you remember, this was one of the things that was shared during the planning meeting when we talked about some of the additional staffing needs. We've already had some retired officers that we're familiar with, that are interested in this and well, and very familiar with the town. But also, the challenge for Chief and I that council tasked us with was to try to help reduce some of the overhead based on the number of events, and this basically takes us from like 1.5 to a 1 for that hourly rate.
Okay, we've got a motion for second, and a second, I'll call the question to vote. All those in favor of increasing the part-time officer pay as presented by Chief David LaFawn, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Thank you again, Chief. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Mayor, that's the end of our.
Thank you, Councilman Miller. Our next committee report comes from our Public Works Committee, which is chaired by Councilman Aaron Costa. Aaron?
Yes, sir. We have one agenda item with a request from the Public Works Department to extend the 35 miles per hour speed limit at the existing location of Albania and Queens, which is the 600 block, that's correct, of Queen Street. Extended it to the 800 block of West Queen Street. This runs in conjunction with the bridge project. So I make the motion that we extend that 35 miles per hour to the, that intersection, the 800 block of Queen Street.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion, a couple seconds. Corey, did NCDOT weigh in on this? Didn't they first bring this to our attention and express some safety concerns with it being 45 with the new bridge that's going to be going there?
Yes, sir, that's correct. It's part of the design needs to determine what we would like that speed limit to be.
And in terms of, instead of giving us a numerical block, where do we propose that the beginning street be?
So that'd be Hughes Street, Hughes and Queen.
I think it's just right near Barker.
Yeah,
Barker,
it runs
just
between the two.
before Barker and Barker and Church.
And the neighborhood out there, Bob, have you heard any comments from your neighborhood?
I
from your
discussed it
ward?
with many, and a lot of us have a concern that in that Westover area, it's becoming such a busy area with boats coming in and out of that parking lot. So many people going into Westover. Really, if you could get it before Westover, they'll slow down before they get in that area. If you started at Westover, you know how most people will. They're not going to be at 35 when you hit Westover.
So,
And we'll put a sign up before that to go down, is that correct?
to give folks notice as they enter at the 1100 block of West Queen entering into the city limits. As they approach that 800 block, Mayor, the existing 45 mile per hour sign that is just before you get to Barker Street and the church. So we would simply request that that sign be changed to a 35 there. And that gives us Barker and Hughes to slow down before we get to Barker.
And would there be a street sign further west that announces a change in speed?
Yes, sir. We would ask the DOT helps us with that as well, to go ahead and put a speed reduction sign ahead.
Any more questions or comments? Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor of
I've got a
change-
question, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm just trying to get exactly where this is.
If you
I mean,
look-
800's not exactly what we just discussed.
Yeah, it's presented as speed limit change beginning either at 1100 or 800 block of West Queen. And I think,
But we're not, that's,
That sign's not in either one of those.
So, Mayor, just to clarify, at a bare minimum, the minimum would be 800 of West Queen, which is just east of Barker Street. Just before that, where the existing speed limit sign is right before you get to Emmanuel Baptist. It's actually just before the church. And the reason that we got it slated this way is council had the option anywhere between that 800 block all the way to the city limit sign to the side. So I think what Councilman Constant and I had talked about is simply where the existing 45 is, just before you get to the 800 block of West Queen Street, that sign would be replaced. That way you would have Barker, Hughes, and Lee Street that it gives basically 3 intersections that are now past that 35-mile-per-hour sign. But to answer Councilman Zeller's question, the existing sign is in the first residential lot just before Emmanuel Baptist. It's literally on that property line.
And just, thank you for bringing that up.
Talking about right here or between?
Just west of Emmanuel Baptist is where the 45-mile-per-hour sign is.
I think the more we slow it down, the better off we are. It just makes the life better for those residents living on there.
Especially with the new lane that's gonna be there, walkers, bikers.
Which was part of the bridge design.
Right.
And so I don't think we're completely incorrect saying 800 West Queen. It's just that the sign is not right at that stop sign where the 800 starts, but from 800 forward, you would basically be in that slower 35-mile-per-hour sign.
And Councilman Costin, as a councilman who made the motion and also as chair of this Public Works Committee, are you okay with the motion being one that it starts as described right before Barker Street as you
I'll amend it to it, that's fine. I was under the impression that it was the 800 block, which would have been between Barker and Hughes. That's why I was asking for clarity. Because 800 does start a little closer towards Westover, but you're saying it's going to be west of that
Just
street.
west of Barker Street.
And who gave the second? He amended his motion, you have a second?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you for those questions to clarify that for us and also for the public and for the record. So all in favor of the speed limit changing the speed limit on West Queen Street, beginning approximately west of Barker Street to 35 miles per hour, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That speed limit change is approved. Thank you, Councilman
No
Costa.
problem. And I didn't include this in the motion, Corey, but if we do the same like we did on Queen Street, at least a 30-day buffer, educating the public on the speed limit change. But thank you.
That's certainly reasonable. I think we'll
Yes, sir.
take care of that problem. Okay, we next move to our new business, and the first item to discuss, we'll call up Dwayne Wilton, and it's the Hotel Hinton Major Special Use Permit amendment. Okay, Dwayne?
Going off of what Dawson was talking about, a couple changes has occurred. SOG is requesting a minor modification to their approved conditions, one being the change in room count from 33 to 59 rooms. The second being the 1-year extension on the major special use permit for construction to start, basically. So originally it was approved on December 10th. This will give them time enough to do their construction documents and everything needed to get construction moving. Not to say we won't see progress between that, but it'll give them time to get every approvals and all that.
Do they need all that time?
Any extension request, would that be from December 10th of this year as opposed to today?
Yes, sir.
Can we do it from today and shorten the time?
What's that?
Do it from today but shorten the time instead of 1 year?
Well, what I would propose, Dawson, this is certainly no offense to all of the progress that you guys have made. We're very appreciative of your efforts. We've seen a very positive change in development since you become involved. But since the original deadline is not until December 10th, and to keep things moving, personally, and I don't have a vote, but I'm just, unless y'all tie it up, I would prefer that we do 6 months from December 10th as opposed to 12 months. I have full faith in all the progress we've seen the first 9 months of 2025, that we're going to see a tremendous amount of progress in that 6 months, and just come back and visit it. Just to kind of keep things moving, that would be my recommendation.
A year
And-
seems like a long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the public wants to see us kind of keep things moving. And Dwayne, we made some statements earlier. It appears to me that the requested change is more in keeping with what our original intent was when
Yes.
we started this journey. Is that correct?
Yes.
And also, once these changes were proposed that were more in keeping with our intent, the ownership group had to get approvals from at least 3 different entities that they'd already gotten approved under the original design.
One being highlighted in that most special permit was PNC, which they received.
Right.
And they're working on getting their National Park Service and the state as well. So whenever that comes in, they'll be fully in compliance.
Well, I think it appears to me that there's been some delay in getting these changes approved. These changes are more in keeping with our intent. And I think we probably need to show some good faith with them in granting the amendment, and also hope they understand. I don't know what the council's going to vote on, but I would prefer a 6-month window from December 10th of this year.
Well, Mayor, I make a motion that we amend the special use permit to start at December 10th and add a 6-month extension.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion on
This
this?
thing just takes a long time to get it done.
Yeah.
It's, it's great. It's moving forward.
Mayor, I think one thing tonight here with the motion is that it does need to include that, it does also need to include space for the number of rooms in the swing on the commission.
No, that was just a site design
Okay,
modification. That wasn't part of the conditions. It was a
Okay.
site design that was approved, so that's why I wanted to.
Do we need to include it just in case, or?
No, you're fine, you're fine, you're right.
This is
Motion
motion.
stands.
This is
Yeah,
motion.
motion stands.
So we've got a motion and a second from this side, from someone. Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve the amendment, and instead of having a 12-month extension for December 10th of 2025, that'll be a 6-month extension to approximately May 10th of 2026. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Dwayne. And again, Dawson, extend our thanks to the ownership group for all the progress we're seeing, and we're certainly hopeful we'll continue to see.
Absolutely, thank you all.
Our next agenda item is a resolution authorizing a resilient coastal communities grant contract. Dwayne, as I understand it, the grant giver is requiring us to approve it and enter a resolution of approval, and then later we will receive $115,000 to help in our continued efforts on Filbert's Creek. And that could include engineering, design, and if there's any money left over, construction. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is primarily for engineering and design as phase 3. This will get us in contention for phase 4 project that would be fully funded at some point. But this is the next step in a flood mitigation aspect for Phillips Creek and the surrounding area.
And this is fully funded without a match from the town?
Yes, sir.
I think that's extraordinary. We do stuff all the time. We're always doing that. Good for y'all. Good for us.
Correct. It's going to be a budget amendment followed once we send this resolution, and then we'll prepare some so we can recognize those plans.
So we'll enter the resolution tonight, hopefully, send that on, and then a check will come, and we'll have a budget amendment to recognize incoming funds at a later date. Can I have a motion and a second to approve this resolution? Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving this resolution to approve the $115,000 grant for the Filbert's Creek project, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Dwayne. The next matter is the town manager employment contract amendment number 3. Council has discussed this personnel matter in closed session as allowed by the law. Any action that we take on any amendments to the town manager's contract must be taken within a public meeting. And we are talking about various aspects of the town manager's contract, including the length of the contract, the salary, and any adjustments that would be made in salary for the next 3 years. In order to get this forward on discussion, I would entertain a motion and a second. Okay, and if you could specifically state the motion, yeah. You-
Town manager annual salary to $160 effective July the 1st, 2025. In addition, this amendment established an annual salary adjustment of 3% beginning July the 1st, 2026, and continuing on each July thereafter for the next 3 years. This amendment is consistent with council commitment to fair and competitive compensation for executive leadership.
Thank you, Councilman, and based on that clarification, do I have a second? Second by Councilman Sellers. Just a quick review of the history of this particular issue. Many of you will recall a kind of a tense period last fall when there was an opportunity that I think Joe Watt mentioned earlier in his public comments for Mr. Gooden to leave us for another position on the coast down in Carteret County at a much higher salary than what he was earning at the time, and quite frankly, a much higher salary than what we're going to propose for him tonight. At that point in time, we made an adjustment in his salary in an effort to keep him. Mr. Gooden showed loyalty to us, and in exchange, we were talking about having a human resources study that had a large salary study component to it. And earlier in the year, we received back in March that report from our salary study consultant. Based on that report, we increased the salaries of our rank and file employees based on the recommendations of the study. We found that for our employees, we were really significantly behind other area towns in what we were paying our people, and particularly in some departments, we were beginning to see problems with recruitment and retaining our talent here in town. At that point in time, or before that point in time, when we were discussing the salary with Mr. Gooden last fall, as he was considering the other job opportunity, we told him that we were uncomfortable making a commitment to him until we got the salary study. Once we saw the salary study, it confirmed what we believed, and that was that this position in the town of Edenton had historically been underpaid and was still grossly underpaid. And the town council began having discussions in closed session and individually about the matter, and this is what has been presented as something I believe that we have consensus on. And if anybody else has any comments other than that,
I just got a few. They gave us a salary study, and the manager of Kildover Hill makes $272. The manager of Ahoskie makes $110. The manager of Elizabeth City makes $245. I mean, we're really within the averages where we're going. I mean, actually, I think we're a little bit, we're not as high as maybe the salary study says we should be. But the amount of work that Corey does, the amount of money, like that $110,000 that came in that last motion. I mean, it's constant. It's every day. He's bringing stuff home. He works night and day. He texts us, in the morning before we get up, at night, sometimes after we go to bed. And so I think he's a good deal with this. It's just what it costs. And he could leave tomorrow and go somewhere else, and make a whole lot more.
Yeah. I think we're getting a good deal, because Corey's done an exceptional job for us since he took the helm. And, after Anne Marie was hard shoeprint to fill, and he jumped into them, and he's been running with them. We haven't missed a beat yet.
We're indeed blessed to have Corey as our town manager. It's no getting around here.
Any other comments? Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second as moved by Councilman Bond. All in favor of making the changes to the contract that would adjust the salary annually to $160,000, would extend it to a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2025, and would establish an annual salary adjustment of 3% beginning July 1st of 2026 and continuing on each July 1st thereafter for the next 3 years. All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next agenda item is our town manager report. I'll hand that over to Mr. Goodman.
Thank you, Mayor High. At the August 12th full council meeting, we did not receive any public comments. I'll move next to the items considered timely and important. At that meeting, Mayor High spoke on the return visitor and success of the events that are bringing folks to return trips from Edenton. We agree, and we fully support the efforts of all our nonprofit partners within the area. These group success is often unmeasured, but a return guest like this was shared definitely speaks to the success of these events. So thank you to all our nonprofit partners that bring people back multiple times. Councilman Costin thanked PD for the previous weekend when we had the outside protester participants and the request to consider moving the manager's report to the special committee meeting date. We are very proud of the team that Chief LaFawn has built and the level of professionalism that we've noticed from his staff. The collaboration with the other agencies has really shined through on this specific event and so many more. We are very fortunate to have Chief LaFawn in charge of our local law enforcement needs, and these efforts are truly world-class. For the second part of that, Councilman Costin, we could consider some variation of the current responses from the manager's report. We may have some, if not all of the responses in the time for an earlier meeting, if council would choose to do that, or we can consider splitting it or providing as much as possible. The problem is that the special and committee meetings are usually a lot more detailed and require a lot more staff time than our full meetings because we prepare the committees. And so that's some of the challenges that we can have, but we are flexible. I am flexible, whatever council decides that it would like to do. One thing I did want to share with the general public as far as public comment, they're more than welcome to get up with us prior to any meetings, and we can try to reach out and answer those questions you may have before public comment. So we encourage everyone to do that if need be. Councilman Dixon also wanted to thank the staff, executives, and the elected officials for all the hard work that is being accomplished after traveling and seeing other places that we're struggling to perform. These kind words are appreciated, and our staff is the best in the business, period. Mayor High also chimed in and spoke to the police department and the extent of how well prepared the officers and resources were for preparations for the unknown count of outside visitors to the protest. There's, as the response from Councilman Costin, we are truly blessed to have Chief LaFawn leading those efforts. Councilman Miller voiced support for the amount of outreach that we're seeing in social media. He asked for a Hotel Hinton update as well as a Fairfield Marriott update. Things on social media are improving in the outreach in social media and overall outreach. However, we will always train and advance ourselves to stay in front of this line. The Hotel Hinton was discussed tonight, and we will try to contact the developers of the Fairfield Marriott project to determine if any updates are ready One of the things that Dwayne and I did recently notice with that chain is that the developers that wanted to build that hotel here in Edenton, they had updated their future locations to include the higher tiered structure. So I think they're still working on it, and we're just gonna have to reach out and see if we can schedule a meeting with them to find out what that means. But from where we were a year and a half ago to today, to see the newer tiered already showing on their website for their, I mean, they're still holding on that they're bringing a higher tiered Marriott here.
And then, you said you've recently been in communication with them, is that right?
It's been a few months that I spoke to them.
So they're
There was
still
one more
there.
project ahead of us, I think in Barnburg, North Carolina, but we still are on the project.
Dwayne, what is the higher tier called? What's that mean?
Spring Hill Suites.
Spring
Hill
Suites?
Councilman Sellers also thanked PD for the success from that weekend, and also shared support of the relationship improvements that we've noticed between the Edenton Police Department and the Chowan County Sheriff's Office. Again, kudos to Chief LaFawn and all the efforts that he is making to do, all the efforts that he is making to keep Edenton safer and more law-abiding. Councilman Turner referenced the odor from the main lift. At that meeting, the Public Works Director did share the upcoming trial period for the new equipment. That was a part of the odor control system. I did want to share with everyone that the trial and the equipment were installed on August 28th. We are actively within a 30-day trial as we speak. We are monitoring the exhaust for H2S levels. That was the primary concern that contributed to the odor. And to ultimately determine the equipment's effectiveness, we actually do have a monitoring device that's there now. It's monitoring what's leaving the wet well itself. We will know if we plan to move forward with this device at the end of September. So
It works, we're moving forward with it.
And Councilman Turner, as he was giving that report, I was smiling because Corey and I had, and a few others had lunch with officials from the NC East Alliance last Wednesday or Thursday, and Corey and I were walking over there, and we passed by there, and he said, stop, and I said, what? He said, stop right there, and we were 3 feet away from him. He said, breathe in real deep, and I breathed in real deep. I couldn't smell a thing. That's the first time I think I could ever say that I walked by that without being able to smell anything. So it passes a smell test.
So, to get back to that, we're under a 30-day trial with this, and then they'll give us the cost?
No, we already have the cost. I'm actually working with Vernon on a press
Okay.
release for this. We shared the details of this. This is a ozone-based system again. We had some conversations very early on with Mr. Murray. We actually found a device to work with some of the chemistry. Thank you, Mr. Murray, for sharing. We found something that we could implement there. Total cost, if we choose to move forward, would be $40,000 for the piece of equipment for a scrubber system. This is, that is very low dollar for what we've seen on distillate columns and things of that nature. But right now, when I say trial, they're monitoring. We did see what the peak hydrogen sulfide levels were that were creating the main surrogate to the odors. We saw a 92 parts per million reading over a 30-day test to see what the ceiling was. So this piece of equipment is designed to exceed 92 parts per million of odor control. So that's what we're testing now. We're trying to dial it in because sometimes you'll smell ozone and you'll go turn it back, and sometimes you'll smell odor. We're trying to figure out where that sweet spot is based on the level control. So hopefully we'll have a non-existent issue piece of equipment purchase early October.
Yes. Before Christmas.
Thank you for that.
Mayor, that's all I have for my report.
Thank you for that report. Next, we come to the agenda items considered timely reported by council. And before we hear from council, I would like to say this to this council and also to the citizens of Edenton. It's not always easy, but it's certainly my pleasure serving all of you as your mayor. And it's not easy, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And I'm humbled and take that responsibility very, very seriously, and I just wanted to let you know that.
I'd like to continue on with what you just said. When I was running for this position, I knew there'd be tough decisions. I didn't know it'd be every month, but anyways, I just want everybody to know, we don't just jump into a decision. We don't. We think it through, and 3 mayors have told me when I was running, number one, look at the safety of your community first. And that's got to be in your decision. And I know all of us do that. We take some heat, but I'd like to thank this group right here just for what we do. I'd like to thank Mayor for backing us, supporting us, and putting the word out there to the public all the time. There cannot be a mayor around here that will let the community know what's going on, and he does. And we got to thank him for that, because not everybody has that luxury. So, thank you.
Okay, Councilman Goslin, you have anything?
We'll start on that side.
Okay, start on this side. Okay, they might say all the good things before it gets around to you. Okay, Councilman Turner, anything else?
No.
Okay, Councilman Sellers.
Thanks, Mayor. I was at the park this past Friday morning. Thursday night, some either very, very large children or adults had broken part of the playground equipment. I think I was there at 8:30. Jerry Welding was there along with a town employee. David Myers was there. They had blocked off the area that had been damaged as it was dangerous. And I believe it was fixed by about 10:30 or 11 a.m. So they jumped on it as quick as possible. They were the ones that actually noticed it in the morning during their walkthroughs. Either them or the park attendant, I can't remember which one. But it was taken care of, I mean, before any children could really miss out on its enjoyment. So I want to give David and the town the credit for getting stuff like that done. And one other thing is to the park. I've seen 2 people very recently attempt to use those bathrooms before 9 a.m. That's when the park attendant gets there, but the park actually opens quite earlier than that. This is something Mr. Carlson has brought up before. If we could try out a timer, which I asked David Myers about, and he said, we could try that out, see if it works, see if it doesn't work. And we could shut it down when they leave at night, but it is important, I think, to give people the chance to use that bathroom before 9 a.m. We have a lot of active people out and about. So I'd like to give that a go.
And as it relates to David, 2 things. Make sure you pass it along to him, Councilman Sellers, thanks to he and his department for that, and also follow up with him on the Councilman
Mayor, I just want to thank the town electric department. The great job they did on trimming trees on Granville Street. What a difference. You can see that red blinking light from each end of Virginia Road, Granville Street. Looks good. The other thing I want to ask Chief, are we making any progress on pickup truck noise? Is that getting any better?
We're writing tickets.
Okay, right, okay, good. So I know it's pretty rough on Broad and West Queen. People having complained. Thank you. Just to be here today.
Councilman Bond?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that's fine. That's fine. Councilman Dixon.
The theme of everything is beautiful. I mean, I think that it's amazing when you and I are walking in the mornings, we pass all of these public works people out there early, blowing the streets off, getting up the dirt, watering the flowers.
Before dawn.
Before dawn. And I think it's amazing that those employees are working that hard, and people don't even know they're there doing it. And it's I think it's a real privilege. And the other thing is, I met some people that bought the new house that just sold on East Gale Street, and I saw them in the coffee shop. They just couldn't believe how great Edenton was. And I think that we need to look back at the reason we're doing so well is because we have good policies. Policies make good work. And that redevelopment zone, I'll put that against any policy we've ever done as far as what it's doing for the center part of Edenton and for the lives of the residents on those streets. I mean, it's taking vacant buildings and turned them into really nice, almost show place. And so I think that we just need to continue to do good policy, and then we'll have good government.
Councilman Thomas?
Just another compliment. At the last meeting, I forgot to recognize the town and some of our community partners for the back to school bash. I know that was quickly organized, but it was a great event. I know you and I enjoyed it in the bucket truck. I appreciate the police department, the Education Foundation, and all the other organizers for coming together and getting that going for us. So thank you.
Appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our open meeting. At this time, we're going to go in closed session pursuant to 143-318.11A3 to discuss pending litigation matter identified as file number 25 CBD 4-20, Kelly County Superior Court, John Shannon and others versus Town of Edenton. Make that motion in a second.
Yeah,